Hi, first grade. Last time we were looking at ancient Egyptian cartouche, and today we are looking at an ancient Egyptian mask. Ancient Egyptians made a mask that looked like this, out of gold, and put in precious gems, carnelian, which is the red piece, and turquoise, and lapis, and made this amazing mask. It was made out of real gold. It took a lot of time and effort to make. And the ancient Egyptians made this kind of high quality artwork for their kings or pharaohs. This was actually a death mask that was put over a mummy, and the mummy's name was Tutankhamun, or we often call him King Tut. There's a lot of legends about him, and the reasons there's legends about him is because this tomb was found full of stuff. Up until this time, there were a lot of ancient Egyptian tombs from way back that were robbed, because if people know that there's valuable things in it, they might be tempted to rob them. And so they were never fully stuffed with all of the treasures from the time that the tomb was sealed. The ancient Egyptians, in a nutshell, had a belief that when a king or pharaoh died, lots of things should be packed with him so that you could take things that you liked to the next life. And that could include like the real thing, like if you had a favorite game, they would pack the favorite game in the tomb, or you could have a painting of it on the wall, and then it could also, move to the next life. It was almost like you packed for the next journey, like into heaven, but you took stuff with you. And so it was full of all kinds of treasures. So the body was wrapped in linens, and then this was placed over top, and then it was put in a series of boxes. But you can see that this gives you an idea of what a pharaoh was supposed to look like. He had this eye makeup that went around the eyes here and the eyebrows. Here was a false beard, that the king was supposed to have this very decorated beard, even if he really didn't. You had one that they found ones that you could put on. They had this crook here, which looks like a shepherd hook, and a flail, which had pieces dangling from it. And this was the type of thing a king would hold. They were things that they would hold to show their power. Other people didn't have these things to hold, only a king had them. Then this striped headpiece here, they believe was a cloth that you could put over your head, and then it had these pieces that came out from the top. This is a vulture, and this is a snake, and they represented various gods. You'll also notice that they have very large ears. I don't know if this particular king, King Tut, they believe that he was a boy king, that he came to the throne when he was young and actually died very young. I've read a lot about this. I've seen a lot of TV shows. They think it might have been an accident, that he had something that happened. One of the latest ones was he might have been in a chariot race and his chariot knocked over. But, it's the kinds of things that people like to learn about in history and speculate what happened to this person. It makes for exciting stories. There's lots of things that you can read about the ancient Egyptians because they were very fascinating. But you can see here that there's these large holes in the ears, and believe it or not, they found big, very large, big earrings that would be wearing. And you'd say, well, Mrs. Mitchell, boys wearing large earrings, sometimes they just wear short ones. But, it was the fashion at the time. And of course, him being a king or pharaoh, he would have the most beautiful things that anybody could have. Even look here, a big gold necklace. But irregardless what King Tut has, this idea of this striped headdress along the head has become a very typical style for when you're drawing an ancient Egyptian. So we're going to draw an ancient Egyptian head, and we're going to use this shape here and draw the headdress that's so associated with the ancient Egyptians. Okay, so I'm going to put this to one side. We're going to get some paper. Okay. Now, usually we can put guidelines on here so we can start at the same place. But I usually like to do a gentle fold so that I can see where my guidelines are and I don't rip the paper when I'm erasing them. But for the sake of this film, I'm going to darken them in so you can see what I'm talking about. You see, if I go along the lines here, if you're doing this, you just have to follow the folds and then we'll flatten it out later. But you might not be able to see on the video, so here I'm outlining, I'm making it darker. You can do a light sketch, but sometimes when you go to erase, you pull the paper. So just fold it into 4. Okay, the first thing you want to do is the 2 lines meet here in the center. If you go from the center to the top, let's find a little place in the middle, which would be the middle from where the two halves intersect to the edge of the paper. That's about the middle, okay? And then let's also find down here between this one and this one where roughly the middle of the paper is. Now, we want to make a large U for the head, and we want to center it. So if we've got a line here in the middle, let's come across and make a dot in the middle here. Let's make a dot on the other side. Now you can see I'm going to be able to make a U so the head's centered on the paper. So let's do that. Let's make a large U. Center of the paper. Now I'm going to switch over to my Sharpie marker, just in case you didn't follow that, okay? Do it with the Sharpie marker. We want to make a grid in the paper so that it separates into 4 parts. I usually like to fold it like a window, so that way you have your lines on here without having to erase it. I put the lines on so you could see better. First thing I did was went to the middle here and made a dot. From here to here, found the middle point. From here to here, I made a dot with the middle point there. Now, I came over, made a dot to the side, and I want to make a U so that I can make a head in the center of the paper. Okay? Next thing I want to do is I want to come across the top here and then I want to come in about the size of my finger and make another line across. Okay? Now, I want to make a headdress that comes to the middle, about the middle right here of the paper. So I'm going to make a little mark here and here. So from here to here, let's find the middle. And then we're also going to find the middle up here, from here to here, about right there. Okay, so I'm going to just take this, and I'm going to come down. And make another U in the opposite direction. Okay, now I've got that on both sides. Let's put the neck on. Just going to make a simple neck. We're going to go straight down here and straight down here. Okay. And then we're going to make a slight S here. And here. So you can see now we have our King Tut headpiece. We have our neck, we have our face. Now the next thing that we have to do is we have to draw in the eyes and the ears, okay? Now, let's go in the middle. The eyes are gonna probably be right here in the middle, so let's go from the fold to this part here, and we will make the ears that come up, come down here. Let's do the same on the other side to get it nice and even. Let's go across. That's going to be in the middle. That's going to go up and across. Well, might as well put those holes in. We're going to go. The eyes are football shaped, but they have that piece out that looks like a cat. So we're going to go football shaped. And then we're going to put our eyes in with an eyeball. We're also going to put rainbow here and twin line it because they had very stylized eyebrows. Little line here. Rainbow. Rainbow together. Okay. Now, for the nose, we're just going to make a simple nose that comes down and out. Piece over here. Okay, nostril. And then between the nose and the chin is the middle where the lips are going to be. So I like to, since it's the middle of the line, let's just make it like this. And then we're going to make it very simplified. Here, here, and down. Okay. You can see how that's all coming together very nicely. We're going to take this and we're going to make an extra line here to make where the collar is. Because if you look at the picture that I was using, there's a collar that comes in and we can sort of decorate there. We can decorate the collar. And then I'm going to leave it up to you. We're going to do the stripes and then I'm going to leave it up to you if you decide if you want to put the snake and things on top. Now, the stripes, the most important thing is getting them even, okay? So, this part here is where the snake or the vulture would go. So you have to come across and bring that into diagonal and the same space along the side because it would be even. Space here, space here, around the edge, around the edge. Now, they all come in on a diagonal at the top, but then the stripes on the side are straight across. So the best thing to do is drawing them straight across and keep up with the space. And this is what I mean. So I'm going to draw from here to here. Then I'm just going to pretend my pen goes along and stripe here because it's all about being even. So try to make sure that they're the same width apart. Across. So again, you can see now how I've got the stripes nice and even. And I'm going to leave it up to you how you want to decorate it. I'm going to color mine in. You'll see how it looks when it's colored. And then you can decide if you want to add any of the touches that I did or if you want to make your pharaoh a little bit different. Okay, so after I'm done coloring, you'll see it on the other side, what it looks like. Remember, the ancient Egyptians were very interested in gold and blue in the Pharaoh face. So you can see I'm going to be doing gold and blue or gold and black. And then I'll see if I want to put the snake on it. I guess I could put the snake on here if I wanted to. I would just have to erase this part. I would strongly suggest you do it in pencil first and then go over it with a Sharpie marker. I'll color this up. Oh, and the beard. We forgot the beard that has to be put on. And the beard has got braiding, and it looks like crosses all the way down. All right, terrific. Boy and girl pharaohs. There were some pharaohs that were women, queens that became pharaohs, and they also had to wear the fake beard, even though, you know, they weren't growing their own beards. Okay, so this is a great lesson. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's fun to do. Erase any pencil lines, and I'll show you later on what it looks like colored. There you go. Your very own King Tut picture. Enjoy. Have fun. Bye.